Thank you, Speaker. I rise to speak about the helicopter crash that occurred on the 28th of July. Every profession has its own language, and the profession of arms certainly does. There's a term that originates from the Royal Air Force called Duff, and it was a term that described inaccurate information. So when you hear on a radio, "no Duff," it means this is accurate and serious. And on the night of the 28th of July, hundreds of young Australians in uniform were conducting a highly dangerous special operations mission in Queensland. That had members of the Air Force in support, members of the Navy, and members of Special Operations Command. And it had members of 6th Aviation Regiment in support. And there was lots of complex moving parts, and this was all occurring while most of us slept. And at some point, over the radio, came "no Duff, fallen angel." Fallen angel is a word, two words that if you hear on operations or in training, your heart sinks because you know what it means when a piece of machinery like that falls out of the sky. And they're called angels because that's what they are. They are the people who take us into a mission, whether it's on training or in operations, and they're the ones that take you home. And that's what they were loitering, ready to do, to take other Australians home from a mission. So no Duff, fallen angel. When that happens, the exercise ends. Everyone freezes and moves into action to try and save their fellow Australians, or at the time, Americans who were in support too. And that's exactly what they did. Everyone moved heaven and earth to try and see if there was some hope that they could be saved. Days later, we know that hope had faded and that their bodies had been found. And I want to say to the families, the parents, the children, the brothers, sisters, grandparents, because they were so young, the sacrifice that they have made for this nation means as much to me and all of us as any Australian name on the War Memorial. Because when they signed up to the Australian Defence Force, they signed up to a contract that meant they were willing to give their lives for us. And there is a saying in the Defence Force that you train hard and you fight easy. And that's what we do in exercises. We train hard, very hard, and it comes with high risk. And again, whether it's on operations or in training, there is a moment when a notification process starts. And I've been in that chain. On my second tour of Afghanistan, 2 soldiers died, and I had a role to play in making sure that information was accurate and passed on. And what I remember more than anything is the sense of guilt that I knew that had happened and their family hadn't got the knock at the door yet. And that is a sense of guilt because the people who need to know most are their family and friends. And at some point, someone has to knock on a door and give that news. And that stays with those people forever too. They'll always remember that. And there are those who were waiting on the ground to get onto that helicopter, 14 others. We lost 4, and I'll say their names in the time remaining. Captain Daniel Lyon, Lieutenant Maxwell Nugent, Warrant Officer Class 2 Joseph Laycock, and Corporal Alexander Nags. And they come from many other places, 6th Aviation Regiment, the member for Hughes, that's where they work, but they live in other areas, like my friend, the member for Barara. There's links to his electorate and others throughout this nation and this parliament. There will be an inquiry, and that won't be easy, and we need to give the families their full support. And all of the other ADF and other organisations who are wrapping their arms around the family, including like the Commando Welfare Trust, who I spoke to last week, they will be doing their very best to help them and to help their families. There are tough times ahead for you, and we are here for you because you are here for this country.